My third and final technology learning challenge, I wanted to learn how to use Pro Tools instruments and just general Pro Tools ways of editing things to get the noises I want so that I can produce music. And this is a combination of making my own noises with mostly only the vacuum. That's the one I really learned how to use, the vacuum MIDI instrument on Pro Tools, and also editing some samples. And yeah, so I'm going to start with pretty much the first noise I worked on, which is this one right here, the super bass. So if we listen to this, this is a basic little alarm, but how I made this was with the vacuum. I started with a preset, I believe it was the Fatso, and then I took it, I edited the range to be really wide on this side and somewhat narrower on this side, and I wanted the shape to be right around here. And those are generally the edits. You see I can play noises here all across the thin string. And then what I can also do is if I double click on this, I can edit the notes themselves, shift them up and down this piano, which is the scale. So if I go up, we're going higher. If I go down, we're going lower. And that way I can be really precise if I'm not perfectly on beat when I initially create the instrument. And so after I kind of learned how to do it, what I wanted to do was make some really excessive, extreme noises. One of those is this one. Okay, so for this noise, I took the noise right on top of it. This one right here. And then I added a pretty extreme reverb, 100% mix, so every single bit of the sound is going into the mix and the reverb is being applied. I did the biggest room size possible to turn that noise into that hollower open noise, and when combined I really like the noise that came out. So that was one thing I learned how to do. Another would be this one up here. So this is my bass. So I wanted a really deep bass, like really rumbling that you really feel. And it's actually distorting a little bit at the end there, which is because I edited the volume to be all the way to the maximum volume, which you're not really supposed to do, but I wanted to get a little distortion. I wanted to kind of play with the extremes. But this bass also made with vacuum. I started with a bass preset. I don't remember which one anymore, and then I just kind of messed around with these until I got the one that I really wanted, which I ended up with this bass. I also use it again over here, where it's going to shift from kind of lower up, and it's going to get higher at the end. It doesn't sound the same anymore because I just messed up one of the settings. I don't know what I did to it. That's the problem with messing with the vacuum, is that I've just messed up my settings for the bass, so it's going to sound weird now. But I also have, in addition to that, I have some other cool notes. I think this one is pretty cool here. This was, oh, actually, back to the bass. I added gain with the channel strip, which basically makes the noise even more powerful. I can go past the 12 volume limit. I used a one band EQ to take off a lot of the rumble on the high end, but I kept all of the low. Or I didn't keep all the low. I got rid of a little bit, but I kept more low than high because I wanted it to be like deep. And here's another noise right here. This one is also not as clean as it might want to be because I kept some of the like really deepness of it. is here. This is another one I made. So for this one, I actually did something interesting where I took my, where is it? Not this one. Took my vacuum and I turned up the modulation, which this is originally a bass track. So if I just bring this down, it's just gonna sound like that. I turn this up, and so now we get this high pitched noise. And the effect of that is it's pretty different depending on what I do. Right, so I can get a really interesting noise just with one setting here. Basically all of this, I just messed around with it to get the noises I want. We just had an error at one point. Right here also, I'm going to change it up again. All this is edited in the, I don't know, it's not working. All this is edited in the edit window down here to get the exact notes I want. I don't know where they are, they're somewhere. And then a different kind of noise that I also messed around with is this one. So this is going back to it, the alarm from before, but I just basically copied the notes from the bass and then I brought them down and we get a completely different noise. And so yeah, that's just, I made an interesting instrument using this vacuum right here, and then I played around with the notes on the different parts and where everything was. So these instruments are not really like any real instruments, and they're completely different depending on where they are on the scale. And it just all kind of starts with messing with a preset, and then until I get a noise I like. And then I just play around with the notes, make sure everything goes together. And the last thing I want to talk about that I learned how to do is editing samples. So which one are we going to work on? These are just audio samples in my audio, so these are pretty basic. I mostly just applied EQs to clean up the noise a little bit. I modulated the pitch to make my voice deeper. So it would sound less like me, put a little bit of reverb, de-esser, and more cleaning up the rumble. It's pretty much the same for all of the audio clips, just different levels depending on how much it needed to be cleaned up. And this is just because I have a lot of noise at once, so I want to make them as clean as possible so they don't get messed with each other. But yeah, my big sample was this one right here, which is very loud, just so you know. So this one was kind of fun to play around with. It started as the sample of an engine noise, and what I did is I did the EQs like usual. I added a reverb to make it larger in scale, sound like it was bouncing off surfaces, and I mess with the air stereo width, which basically affects how wide the noise is. So I made it a lot wider, and I kind of got this crazy noise here. This is all just noise audio from a car engine from an Instagram reel that I found. I downloaded it, imported it into Pro Tools, and then made some edits. All of these are time stretch with time compressed. To make that trail off at the noise, I just took the same clip, I divided it into pieces. This first clip here is the original speed of the clip. This one I stretched to make it longer and last longer. I also stretched this one and then I layered it so you get that constant noise, even though I'm stretching the clips using the time stretch to make them longer than they actually are, which also distorts the noise in a cool way. And then, yeah, those are, I think, the main edits. I also use a lot of volume edits. So right here you can see the volume is dipping. I think I use that more. Yeah, like here, volume's going up and down a lot. I use that really significantly with the audio clips, right? Because I wanted these to be kind of sporadic and random. And so rather than actually master it as a track, I mastered it on the timeline using the pencil tool and the volume section, because I wanted the volume to go up and down so we can kind of listen to this.
Pause, prepare to escape. Everybody make your way to the emergency pause, prepare to escape. The ship is going down. The ship is going down.
So you can kind of see the audio like coming back and forth. So I generally have it quieter, and then I kind of have it peak right here, and then it just drops off. And yeah, I personally, all of these tracks have the same audio editing on them, which was just to get exactly how I wanted. Generally, if you're making like a song, you'd use the mixer window, and then you go track by track or use a routing folder, but I wanted to edit all the audios individually. And yeah, I guess we just listen to the song now. It's going to sound a little different because of the bass. So I'm actually going to exit Pro Tools and listen to my rendered version, which is, don't know where it is, bounce files. And we'll listen to the WAV. So it's going to start off kind of quiet, and it's going to get a lot louder. That's generally not how you're supposed to mix and master, but I just wanted to mess around with the noises so that certain noises are brought out in kind of an extreme way. So that's right here where it peaks and drops off. Now we're at this sample right here. It's going to travel through it, and then I'm going to start talking here. You can hear that right now.
$4 million.
And this is about to come
Seems like a
in.
lot.
That's a lot of money. But I enjoyed every moment of it.
Aren't you going to run out of money?
It's my gamma stuff.
This is in as well.
No.
Now we just brought in a sample alarm sound. This could become a lot louder. And yeah, it's just going to continue like this until right here, which will come up on this beat switch. Now, this came in, right? I dropped the notes on this, made it a lot longer. Really changed the noise. Now we have an engine sample coming in. And so yeah, it's not mixed perfectly, so the audio distorts at higher volumes, but it was really just to mess around with the instruments and see the type of noises I could create, and how extreme the noises could be. This is
All gone. Everything. Not me though. Why not me? Everybody still here. Just saying it's to what? That never about me. What is it?
so this is more editing with
I can't
the
live in
volume and
I won't be
audio.
able to. By living life, by really living it. I'm not gonna run out right now. Why?
And this noise is also, these are all noises that I created using the vacuum. The piano is the only one where I use something else. For the piano, I just use the minigram. And yeah, I was just playing around with all the different MIDI instruments and some samples and my own audio clips, editing all those to see how much emotion I guess I could create. And I, learned a lot about the MIDI instruments and some more mixing, mastering stuff. And yeah.